It's the place for all the biggest shows and stars of the stage. It's the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Welcome. We are now officially on the road to the Tony Awards, so let's take a look at some of the nominees. Let's kick it off with the big one, the category for Best New Musical.
I wanna belong to someone.
The Lost Boys. Schmigadoon. Titanic.
Follow my stride, just follow my stride.
I'm Bonnie, you're Clyde, you're Bonnie, I'm Clyde.
Two strangers carry a cake across New York. Here are the nominees in the Best Musical Revival category. Cats, the Jellicle Ball. Ragtime. The Rocky Horror Show. Up for Best New Play. The Ballisters. Giant. Liberation. Little Bear Ridge Road. And the nominees for Best Play Revival. Becky Shaw. Death of a Salesman. Every Brilliant Thing. Fallen Angels. Oedipus. And of course, you can check out the complete list of nominees over at Broadway.com. Let's do the time warp again. The Rocky Horror Show is back on Broadway at Studio 54, featuring an A-list cast. Here's Paul Wontorek with more.
Mr. Luke Evans, good to see you. How's Broadway?
It's good. It's great.
You
I'm enjoying
are
it.
titillating and terrifying Broadway 8 times a week. Frank-N-Furter.
I certainly am, yeah.
I mean, what is it like living with Frank-N-Furter and living alongside Frank-N-Furter?
Probably the most fun I think I've ever had in doing anything as an actor, yeah. I'm very excited. I have butterflies when I'm in the car going to the theater every night, which is a lovely feeling. I also love the process of looking at myself, Luke in the mirror, and then slowly seeing Luke disappear and Frank appear to the point where I'm completely gone. I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, well, there's this creature, and I'm loving it. It's really, really fun.
The look is very unique, actually. The first time I saw you come out on stage, I was just like fascinated by the wig and the choices. It's such a great sort of down and dirty version of Frank-N-Furter. What was it like developing that?
I remember the first artist's impressions that David Reynoso, the costume designer, sent to me.
Fantastic costumes.
Incredible. I mean, if you'd seen the original ones, they were even more risky. But I immediately could see somebody, a designer who wanted to really push the boat out and really do something different, but with an homage to who Frank is. You know, the DNA of Frank is there. It's just he may look a little different. And I was ready for it. I mean, I never said no to a single thing. I wanted to try it all and find, you know, a look that worked for them, but also for me, and also practically how I could wear that costume every night and be comfortable to a certain extent, of course. It was about a 3-month design process. I'd stand there in fishnets and we'd try a leotard or then a thong or a jockstrap.
Right.
This is a character that I never thought I would play, and it's so far removed from everything I've ever done. And part of that was the reason why I wanted to do it. I wanted to prove to myself and to show the world, you know, like as an actor, if I'm brave enough, I can take on something that is so far removed from who I am and what people have seen me in, you know, and that's why it was such a thrill to do, and the most liberating experience of my life.
I love the hair too.
The hair's amazing.
The hair is, yeah.
The hair was a brave choice because, of course, a lot of Franks have the famous Tim Curry style hair, and I'll be the wig designer, the hair designer, and Sam, the director, and David Reynoso, and myself said, let's depart from that. Let's be brave and let's do something different. Let's turning more into a slightly more of a rock star, grungy style Frank.
Are you having fun with that wild crew of performers?
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. They're my family. And you know, I think they all were very aware that I was turning up and I hadn't done theater for a very long time and I was in movies, and I do wonder what they thought on that first day of rehearsals, but they all welcomed me with open arms, and they've been the most supportive group of people. And I think we're all just so happy to be there, which is such a nice experience, to be coming to work every night and hearing people laughing and warming up, and you know, it's a lovely experience. It's a lovely, lovely job.
What's it like to be, you know, getting award nominations and to be, I mean, do you feel like a toast of the season?
It's funny because I guess we've opened just before the award season begins, and you know, America takes awards. They take it, but there's also this amazing buzz, and I guess different parts of the year when you're in a Broadway show, there's other things happening, but it feels like there's so much going on
fast.
right now.
It just happens
It's
fast.
extraordinary. We just opened and then we got nominated, and the audiences are electric every night. But I've always said I didn't come here for an award. I didn't come here for that. I came to entertain and do the best I could do on stage and have a wonderful experience. To have a nomination and to be recognized in a small group of actors from a world I haven't been part of for 17 years. I'm not gonna lie, I do have a sense of imposter syndrome kicking off inside of me a little bit, because I don't do this all the time, but if there's any consolation, like, this is how I began my life, my career life. It was on stage. It's where my heart and my soul really resonates in live theater. So to come back and to do a show and to be nominated is just a lovely, lovely thing. It's like the cherry on the cake. That, you know, people have come to see the show and have recognized my performance and the show and many other things connected to the show. But yeah, it's a crazy time to be on Broadway with all these awards and nominations and cocktail parties and luncheons, and it's a lot.
A-listers Adrien Brody and Tessa Thompson making their Broadway debuts in The Fear of 13, based on the documentary of the same name. Adrien Brody plays Nick Yaris, the man who spent years on death row for a crime he didn't commit, exonerated years later by DNA. I sat down with Oscar winner Adrien Brody. Did you know that this was a play, this was the time to come to the stage?
Yeah, I thought that once I read the play, I was so moved by it that I couldn't read it without crying, weeping. Nick's story is so complex and tragic and yet full of hope and redemption that I thought it was just so beautiful, and the writing was so beautiful. I think part of what moved me was how eloquently Lindsay Ferrantino, who wrote the play, portrayed this nuanced journey of telling Nick's life, and it just really spoke to me. And that's saying a lot, because you know, I was quite apprehensive about jumping in back on the stage after many, many years. I hadn't done a play since I was very young. It's a very vastly different process from my normal routine of doing my work.
You've met Nick and talked to him. Did you spend a lot of time with him? What do you do in those conversations? I mean, his story is just amazing. His energy is next level for what he has been through and what's happened. Were you familiar with his story at all?
Not prior to this, but Nick and I have spent quite a bit of time, and he's a remarkable person, a remarkable storyteller, and gregarious and just full of an enthusiasm for life and an empathetic nature. And so in spite of all of his all of these horrific circumstances in his life. They've been really horrific and deeply unjust. He has this remarkable quality of someone who's very conscious of the value of time and the preciousness of every moment, and of how he wants to both present himself to you and to be available to you. We could all learn from that.
How does it feel being welcomed into the Broadway community like you are? I heard there's a Sardi's character that's going to be...
I'm so excited about that. I can't tell you.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't. I'm always a bit apprehensive about a caricature being made of me. Actually, I'm very honored to be included in that esteemed group of people with so many wonderful people, and you know.
Tony nominee Jeremy Jordan making a splash once again on Broadway. He's a new Bobby Darin in the amazing musical Just in Time.
I love the connection with the audience. Bobby Darin he's great because he is like a ball of energy. Like he lives every moment like it might be his last, because he was told that he was going to die at a young age. So he's living on borrowed time. So he's just going. And so to play somebody with that much energy and that much life, it goes both ways. Like, he feels more, he feels harder. So like the excitement and the joy is bigger, the devastation, the pain is deeper. He doesn't really have a lot of control over, balancing out his emotions, which is kind of really fun to toy with, at least for me. And my depiction of him and what I've researched, yeah.
The Broadway show is back in just a sec. Don't Whistle in the Elevator, a new revival of Death of a Salesman is on Broadway, starring Tony Winners, Laurie Metcalf, and Nathan Lane. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
You've talked about wanting to do this play with Nathan Lane for about 35 years.
Yeah.
What did you see in that younger actor that made you think he could carry the weight of Willy Loman and the play?
It was just a momentary thing. It was really a moment. We didn't sit down and have a discussion about it. He was certainly too young. I wasn't even really directing, as a career at that point. So I don't know what it was. It was, I guess, instinct and a wanting to continue a collaboration with someone who had been so kind and so trusting to me on what was essentially my first really big directing gig.
Which was Love, Valor,
Compassion, yeah.
And so it wasn't like seeing this like mid-30s guy and thinking, you're a Willy Loman. It wasn't that.
No, I don't recall it being that. I don't know. It was a premonition. I don't know. I don't believe in those things, but maybe. And when we finally looked at each other when we walked into the rehearsal room, we thought like, oh, okay, well, what did we imagine for ourselves?
Now that you're doing it, now that it's here, what were you right about? And what did he bring that you weren't expecting?
I mean, he's just the kind of actor that I love, because he's like a Rolls Royce. He can do anything.
Yeah.
And the same with Laurie, and the three of us have a collaboration that goes back, many years. And the thing I know when Laurie or Nathan, or Laurie and Nathan in this case, are in the room is they really, they set the bar, and they set the bar high. And what you get with that is the benefit of everyone else in the room looking at them and going, oh, that's what we're gonna do? Okay, and so everybody is on their game because of that, and that's thrilling as a director, because everybody comes and brings their A game every single day, because that's what those two are doing.
There's like an unbearable hope in this production, and I'm wondering what you think the play has to say about hope, and especially in America, especially now.
Well, interestingly enough, we talked about hope a lot, because the kind of the devastation and the violence of Willy Loman being erased, you get that for free. So what we were looking for were those moments where, and there's a wonderful moment, I think, that we found in rehearsal, and it comes towards the end of Act One, where Happy says, I have a feasible idea. And he presents this kind of mad idea of them becoming partners, them becoming the Lohman brothers. And you see this mania plant itself in that family. And for a minute, you see them all aligned in a way of like, yes, this is our way out. This is the thing that, and then someone says the wrong thing and it shatters. And that moment every night just kills me, because you see that it could almost work, because there is such love there. But it is a family where to tell the truth means death. It's over. And so there's this effort to try to keep the fantasy alive.
We are here outside the Broadway Theater with the woman who helps keep Daisy looking fabulous all show long, her dresser, Kim. Kim, what is it like working with these beautiful period Tony Award-winning costumes for the musical The Great Gatsby?
I feel so incredibly lucky. Our costume designer, Linda Cho, did an amazing job with these costumes. They're beaded, they're gorgeous, they're dancing so hard in them that the beads go flying off some nights, almost every night. But everyone just looks stunning. It's just a huge spectacle, and I feel so incredibly lucky to get to work with it every single day.
Now, these costumes in particular, I mean, they are glamorous. It is the glitz and glamour of the 20s in every possible way. What kind of difficulties come with that?
I think just maintaining them for 8 shows a week. So like, just for a photo shoot, I mean, she has 2 white dresses, which is like the biggest nightmare I could ever think of. So for 8 shows, you know, there's like sweat, there's makeup that gets on it. So I'm making sure they're clean all the time. I know all the other dressers on Broadway have the same problem with anything white for 8 shows a week. And then just making sure they all stay clean and, you know, they're sweating. So we dry clean once a week. Yeah, and I think it's just really maintaining Linda's design and making sure it shows out for everyone and everyone gets the show for like the first time when they see it, even though we've been doing it for like 2 years.
So The Great Gatsby, so many people love it. What is it you love about this show?
I think that the tale is just timeless. Always searching for the American dream, always searching for something that we can't ever seem to get, but we're still gonna keep going no matter what. We're always gonna push against the current, boast against the tide. My favorite thing is that it is also catharsis for us women. In the show, Daisy never really has a choice. Her last song, Little Fool, I think speaks to a lot of women. But it's also a huge spectacle. It's something to remember to like live life and keep going and keep pushing, even if you don't get there.
Now, Daisy might not have a choice, but she is lucky enough to have you. I know you have to get to work, but is it okay if these guys follow you around for a little bit?
Absolutely, let's go. This is Eva's dressing room. These are all of her costumes, all of her shoe changes that she has. And then beside you is all of the jewelry that she has for all of her costumes as well. Most of Daisy's changes happen up here in this room. In Act 1, she's only in 3 dresses in Act 1, and there's usually like 7 to 8 minutes in between those numbers. And then in Act 2, we have one quick change when she changes out of this debutante dress into her plaza dress. So Eva starts in the corset for the first number for this dress, and then we change her into this bralette for her second number. And then I put this here for her to start the show in, next to her tights and her Spanx that will put a mic in once the mics get passed out. She has a different shoe change for every costume that she has, but 9 outfits technically. And my favorite one, this is one of my favorite pieces, and it's on stage for like 2 seconds. It's a coat that gets put on her when she's leaving, and it's so stunning, and you only get to see it for like a quick second. But besides that, I love this opening dress because she has the chiffon cape that she twirls around. And it's the first time you see her, and she just comes out looking so stunning and fresh. And then she has this beautiful gown that she wears in La Di Da. And she just looks amazing in it, and she taps in it, and I just think it's perfect. And then she bows in this. This dress only gets a bow. It's stunning. It's so much beads. And she looks so great right next to Gatsby because he's wearing an all-white suit at the end. Thanks so much, you guys, but I got a show to do.
That's all for now, but for tickets and more exclusive content, you can head over to Broadway.com. Until next time, I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.